Tonight we are going to be learning all about alchemy in Elder Scrolls Online. First of all, what is alchemy? Alchemy is the craft in Elder Scrolls Online that you actually use to create potions. These give you an instant buff of some kind to your stats, or maybe do something a little bit more special. What more can potions do? They can instantly restore stats, they can give you a buff to regenerate your stats faster, they can buff up your armor, they can make you go invisible. There's a whole variety of things potions can do. We'll take a quick overview of all the passives available in the skill tree in alchemy and where you'll want to put your skill points. First up, we have solvent proficiency. If you have 6 out of 6 skill points in this, it allows the alchemist to use Cloud Mist to make Veteran 5 potions. This is currently the highest level of potion you can create in Elder Scrolls Online. You will always start having 1 skill point already spent before when you make a character, and this will allow you to make the very low level potions. Once you find that you're finding a different type of water and you're out-leveled the potions you currently can create, you'll need to put skill points in here to be able to make higher level potions. Next eye, we have Keen Eye, which is also in all the other crafts. This will make reagents in the world easier to see when you're 40 meters or closer. Now this is with all 3 skill points spent into this skill. With 1 out of 3 skill points, they'll be easier to see at 20 meters or closer, and 2 out of 3 skill points, they'll be easier to see 30 meters or closer. This is really handy because those plants can be pretty hard to spot in the grass. Next up, we have medicinal use. When using potions, resulting effects last 30% longer. Now, something to note is this is actually when you're using or consuming the potion. This isn't when you actually craft it. So you might just want to level up your alchemy on all your characters in order to get this actual ability. This is with all 3 skill points put in. On your first skill point, it'll be the effects will last 10% longer, and your second skill point, the effects will last 20% longer. Now we move on to chemistry. Right now, with 3 out of 3 skill points, this produces 3 extra potions per crafting attempt. This is really good when you're using hard to come by reagents or plants that you just don't seem to find very often, because for every 1 set of plants you use to make a potion, you'll actually end up creating 4 in total. Now of course, with 1 skill point in here, you'll make 1 extra potion. With 2 skill points, you'll make 2 extra potions. Laboratory use. This is wonderful. This allows you to use up to 3 reagents while mixing potions. You'll notice when I show you at first how to craft, you're going to see that you can actually only use 2 plants when you're creating a potion. Once you can use 3, you can actually extend the duration or add extra effects to the potion you're trying to craft. Our last one is snake blood. This reduces duration of negative effects in potions by 50% when consumed. Once again, I did mention that potions can have bad qualities and these will inflict the person who actually drinks the potion. This skill point can help negate that. But notice that only actually reduces the duration of it. Now that with 1 skill point in, it would reduce it by 50%. With 2 skill points in, it will reduce it by 75%, and with 3 out of 3 skill points in, it will reduce the duration of negative effects by 100%. Something to note though is that you'll find you don't really have to make any potions with negative effects, so you may not bother putting skill points in here, but if you have a cheap potion that's lots of plants are to be found but does have that 1 negative effect, this might be something good to put skill points into. So what do you need to actually create potions with the alchemy craft in Elder Scrolls Online? Well, you're going to need 2 things. First off, you're going to need some type of water. See, here you go. It is actually named a solvent in ESO, but it's just different varieties of water, and this actually determines what level your potion will be for. As well, you're going to need some reagents. These are different plants found throughout the world that you'll need to mix and match in order to create different types of potions. Each reagent has its own properties that will make the potion do different things. Something really interesting about alchemy is that there's actually the ability to create bad potions. These will maybe take away your stamina or take away your health, and unfortunately there's no way to use these as poison on another enemy. It just reflects badly on your own character when they consume the potion. When you're looking to get into alchemy and create potions, the first things you need to do is get some of the ingredients together. So I'll quickly show you what some of those ingredients look like. Here you can see we found an alchemy plant. We're just going to press E and collect it. Next up, we're going to have to find a solvent or some type of water. These can be found in water skins found around camps or towns. As well, you can actually find it from actual water sources. You'll notice it looks like a little gurgling area, and it'll say pure water. You can collect your solvents from there as well. You'll notice when we go to harvest this plant, there's actually some smoke and it's kind of lit up a little bit. Normal plants will not look like this. This is because I have the keen eye ability on. So, once you've actually went out and gathered up all the ingredients you need to start crafting, and once again I'll mention, although you can harvest all the ingredients needed, you can also always buy these from other players, maybe via a guild trader or in zone chat. But first, after you get all that together, you're going to have to find an alchemy station. So, the icon on a map for alchemy station is this one right here. You'll notice when I scroll over it, the same one shows up by alchemy station. Now, we'll look at something a little different. Here you'll see we have actually the woodworking icon, but when we hover over it, it shows that icon again and lists that there's an alchemy station inside there. And I'm actually a lot closer to this one, so that's where I'm going to head now. Once you've found where you're actually going, you're going to want to find an actual alchemy station, and they look like this. Just start out by using it. You'll notice we have 3 different tabs here. We have our All tab, we have our Solvent tab, and we have our Reagents tab. You notice that we really only have creation. There's no deconstruction for alchemy. So it's probably a lot easier if you just click on these individually. You'll see I can use clear water and natural water. This is because I have one skill point put into alchemy under proficiency. So this will allow me to make up to level 10 potions. If we move on over to the Reagents tab, we'll see all the different plants that we've harvested. Remember, these can be in your bag, your backpack, or they can be in the bank. You're allowed to use items from the bank while you're at a crafting station. You also notice that I am allowed to use 2 different plants to create a potion. So, we're going to start out by doing that. Now moving on to the Reagents tab, you'll see all the different plants that we have available to us. There's actually 18 in total. Something else you're going to notice right away is that they each have 4 different traits, or something that each plant does. And at first they show up unknown. If I pick 2 items, it won't actually tell me what potions that's going to make because I haven't created the potion yet. When you actually learn all 4 traits for an item, there's going to be an achievement tied to every different plant. And once you learn every single plant with all 4 traits, you're actually going to get another achievement that will give you a die. So even if you don't use those potions, it might be good just to try to craft them once, just to learn the traits. Now, to actually go ahead and craft something, you'll just have to pick a different solvent, or pick a solvent that will go along with what level of potion you're looking to craft. Then you're going to head over to your Reagents tab, and you're going to select 2 different plants that you would like to use in this one potion. Here, I think we'll use this one's rot and nirnroot. Now, you'll see that I do not know any of the traits for either of these plants, but we're going to go ahead and try to craft it. There we go. We have now discovered 2 traits. Well, 1 trait on each type of plant. You'll notice that it's the same trait, and that's exactly what this potion does. It's all about invisibility. So now, when I look at these same 2 plants on my reagent tab, I'll see that they both now say invisible, to know that I know they create a trait with something. As well, from now on, when I actually select these 2 plants again, it will now show me what potion I am about to craft because I've already made it before. Another thing to note is that you get a lot of extra inspiration or crafting experience whenever you learn a trait. So for every type of reason, they're a good thing to learn. Now, as I mentioned, there is a way to actually create a bad potion with bad effects. So we're going to go ahead and try to create one of those now. We'll use some nirnroot, and let's see what else we have here. Maybe some blessed thistle. You'll see I already have learned 2 different properties of this plant, and that's restore stamina and increase weapon power. Well, those both sound pretty good, but let's see what happens. This creates... Awesome! I learned some more traits. This is awesome. But I now know both of those plants have the Ravage Health property. As well, when you look at the potion I just created, and now I'll know better than to create this potion again, the only thing it does is Ravage 1,380 health immediately, plus it takes away more health over time. Like I said, there's no way to actually use this as a poison against an enemy, so it's just a bad potion all around to make. I also mentioned that some potions will have some negative effects and some positive effects, so we'll try to create one of those now. Oh, look at this! I figured out more properties. And for Stinkhorn, I actually figured out 2 properties for this. We'll notice that this potion grants Major Brutality, which increases your weapon damage, which is good, but it also reduces your armor for 14.4 seconds. Well, that's not very good. But if you're not too worried about your armor in a situation, or if you have snake blood, you might still be able to use this potion, because at least it does have a good quality. Another thing to note while you're off creating potions is that sometimes those potions just won't work. You will not be able to use those 2 plants together to create a potion. So let's go ahead and show you how that looks. You'll notice it glowed red. I did not learn anything. At the corner of my screen it did tell me that the reaction yielded no results. Another thing you'll notice is that even though I have those same 2 plants slotted, it still says unknown potion. It doesn't let you know that you've already tried to craft this potion before and it doesn't work. You can just keep trying over and over and it's never going to work. You do get a very small amount of crafting inspiration, but really not enough to warrant wasting all your plants this way. You might want to keep track of what potions you tried that didn't work. Now, once we've leveled up our alchemy, you'll notice once I have put the skill point into the appropriate passive in the skill tree, I'm now able to actually use 3 different plants to make 1 potion. Now, I can still choose to only use 2 plants, and this will create the same potion it used to. If we look here, we're creating something that restores health and magicka, as well grants us a buff to higher regenerate each stat for a certain amount of seconds. Now, if we go ahead and we add something, like maybe some lady smock, you'll notice that we actually increase the duration of the second magicka buff. Here, I'll switch it back so you can watch there. We go from 40.3 seconds to 45.5 seconds. Now, if I go ahead and once again switch that third plant up, you'll notice it actually increases the duration of the health buff. Adding a third plant can be really helpful in increasing the duration, as well as adding an extra little something to your potion, such as being able to restore all 3 stats. Now, if we add Mountain Flower into this mix, and once again, this potion restores health and magicka, we'll notice it now actually restores all 3 stats. It didn't actually really change much. It did increase the duration of health, as well as added this restore stamina trait. So this is really awesome. You really want to be able to use 3 different plants. The amount or the crazy things you can do with potions is unbelievable, and it only gets wider and more varied the more plants you're able to use. So now, how exactly are you going to remember what potions you want to make? Well, there are a lot of handy guides out there. As well, you can always just write down what your favorite potions consist of. But there is a little bit of method to this madness. In this potion, we're using Bug Gloss and Columbine. So you'll notice we're restoring health and magicka. If we look at the properties of these, and we now know them all, under Bug Gloss we have Restore Health and we have Restore Magicka. We also have lower spell power and increased spell resist. Under Columbine we have Restore Health and Restore Magicka. We have Restore Stamina and Unstoppable as well. But the only 2 that actually match each other are the Restore Health and Restore Magicka. So that's why when I mix these 2 plants, that's what the potion does. Your third plant here, you'll notice when we add it, it has Restore Health, so that's why it did help increase the duration. It also helps restore stamina. The third plant's always a little bit more finicky to figure out, but when you're building with just 2 plants, that's what you need to look for, is what 2 similar properties do these plants have? That's the type of potion they will create.